introduction. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon and good morning from my side of the world. So it's around 9 a.m. here. Ayan, so salamat sa pagdalo nyo sa webinar na to learn more about the hashtag Better Normal. I hope you are all doing well and are safe wherever you are right now. And yeah, there's been a lot of talk about adjusting to the new normal. So for today, I'll be focusing on these topics. Ano nga ba yung gusto nating better normal? I'll be talking about promoting a more resilient food system using cleaner renewable energy, embracing the circular economy, improving mobility, and creating more green spaces. So firstly, for the better normal, we want a more resilient food system. Anong ibig sabihin ng resilient food system? It means our food is produced the ecological way. Ibig sabihin it doesn't harm the environment. We eat local as much as possible, close to our place, and it's a mostly plant-based diet. And I'll be talking about how that is better for the environment and our health. Ito yung greenhouse gas emissions per economic sector. And as you can see, the agriculture, forestry, and other land use accounts to 24% of greenhouse gas emissions. For agriculture, that comes from synthetic fertilizers for intensive farming. And a lot of it actually comes from the meat industry. Kasi ang nangyayari is we clear the forest para makapagtanim tayo ng corn and soya. And that's not for human consumption, but it's for the feeds of the animals. And of course, the whole process of meat production is energy and water intensive. It requires a lot of water, a lot of energy, and it also pollutes water bodies and the air. So yun yung mga impacts ng agriculture, particularly the meat industry. Unfortunately, mas napaparami ang ating kain ng karne. So this is a survey conducted by Greenpeace, and according to the results, 46% of Filipinos eat meat a few times a week. 7 out of 10 Filipinos eat meat at least weekly. Top 2 reasons for eating meat. Sabi nila, it's good for the health daw. Kailangan ng protein and meat tastes good. And then 7 out of 10 says they will only stop eating meat if they already experience health problems or if the doctor will tell them so. And our diet could also be contributing to the emergence of zoonosis. Ibig sabihin, yung mga sakit from animals, madali nang naipapasa sa mga tao. And these are the factors that are increasing zoonosis emergence. There's deforestation and other land use changes, antimicrobial resistance, intensified agriculture and livestock production, illegal and poorly regulated wildlife trade, and climate change. Let me talk a little bit about antimicrobial resistance or AMR. Ang nangyayari kasi sa mga kulungan ng mga hayop is nakalagay sila sa mga kulungan na dikit-dikit sila, di ba? And it's normally the environment is unsanitary. So para hindi sila magkasakit, tinuturukan sila ng maraming antibiotics. And so they are developing resistance from antibiotics. And when we consume this meat, of course, napapasa rin yung resistance na to. Anong problema pag meron tayong resistance sa antibiotics? Pag nagkasakit tayo, tapos nag-take tayo ng antibiotics, hindi na mag-work yung gamot na yun. And this is the kind of diet that we already have, especially if you're living in urban areas in the cities where it's busy. We have no time to buy or to buy ingredients and cook our own food, that we resort to what is convenient, di ba? Yung processed food, fast food. And the problem is we are disconnected with the food that we eat. We don't really know where it comes from, how it's made, and yeah, kaya medyo detached tayo sa kinakain natin. And that's also a reflection of how detached we are from the environment. So it truly is a broken food system, right? And we can fix that. Paano natin ayusin? Una, we can grow our own food. Kasi when we grow our own food, we realize how difficult it is. Hindi lang basta-basta no na magtanim ka and tutubo na yan kaagad. You have to put a lot of effort into it. And so we gain that appreciation to our food and the farmers, the food producers. And this is also one way of connecting to the earth. So na re-establish natin yung connection natin sa lupa. So if you can, I would encourage you to grow your own food. You can practice urban gardening and eat local as much as possible. You buy from farmers to support them. Ibig bang sabihin pag mas malapit yung pinanggagalingan ng pagkain mo, it's better for the environment? Relatively, yes. It doesn't mean na kung yung tawag doon food miles, no? Food miles, yung distance na travel ng food mo papunta sa iyong plate. Sa context natin, it's sa Philippines at least, the closer it is to us, the better. Although halimbawa sa context ng UK, pag minsan mas okay yung pagkain na na-import nila from other countries compared to those that they are eating locally. But in general, mas environment friendly yung eating local. And of course, yung isang malaking impact nito is you are supporting the local farmers. Eat more fruits and vegetables. Hindi ko sinasabi na wag na kayong kumain ng karne. Although an emerging diet right now is going vegan or vegetarian. And if you decide to do so, then well and good. It's good for your health. It's good for the environment. But simply reducing your meat intake and eating more fruits and vegetables already helps. Again, it's for your health and it's for the environment. And say no to food waste. 30% of our food is being wasted. And dapat wag na tayong mag-contribute doon sa food waste. And yung plant-based diet and reducing food waste are easy or simple climate change solutions. Share ko lang na I am part of this movement, #IamHampasLupa Ecological Agriculture Movement, a group supported by Greenpeace promoting ecological agriculture and mindful consumption. Nagtataka siguro kayo bakit I am Hampas Lupa. For one, it's a very catchy for a name. And the very meaning of the words Hampas Lupa has a negative connotation, di ba? Parang sa mga telenovela, isa kang hampas lupa. Pag hampas lupa ka, mahirap ka, isa kang farmer. Pero dapat walang negative association. So yun din yung tinatry nating baguhin, yung negative perception towards farmers. So that's the resilient food system. And now, for the better normal, we want a cleaner, more renewable source of energy. Nagiging madalas na rin na pag-usapan ng issue ng climate change. And climate change is caused by greenhouse gas emissions, mostly from fossil fuels. And the energy industry has a big contribution to that. And right now, syempre yung focus natin yung pandemic, di ba? But we should also not ignore other environmental problems like climate change. especially so that the Philippines is vulnerable to climate change. Ayan, we are ranked first, most affected by climate change in 2013 and second most affected country in 2018. Third country with the highest disaster risk index or with high exposure to extreme natural events. Diba, we experience an average of 20 typhoons every year. And aside from that, we also have volcanoes, we have earthquake. It's more fun in the Philippines, sabi nga nila. So yan, we're very, very vulnerable to climate change. Kung naalala nyo, towards the fourth quarter last year, di ba sunod-sunod yung bagyo. And of course, that destroys farms. Samantalang sa other areas naman, sobrang dry. So we're also experiencing droughts. So these are some of the impacts of climate change. Balik tayo dun sa greenhouse gas emissions per economic sector. Kung nakikita nyo yung electricity and heat production, it's just 25%. But you also have other energy, industry, buildings, and even agriculture. Lahat yan actually, it uses energy. Kaya malaki yung potential when it comes to reducing greenhouse gas emissions if we target the energy sector. In the Philippines, this is our generation mix. As you can see, it's still mostly fossil fuels. 50% from coal, 4% oil-based, and 22% natural gas. So 1/4 lang yung from renewable energy. And we can still increase that capacity. Solar in particular is perfect for the Philippines because we're a tropical country. We receive a lot of sun. And the benefits of solar energy, one, energy from the sun is infinite. So renewable siya. It's environment friendly. We don't have to make use of fossil fuels. And then choosing solar power is also smart. The prices are becoming more affordable now. It's cheaper. And low maintenance lang siya. So you don't need a lot of effort to maintain a solar energy farm. This one right here is a 12.5 megawatt peak solar farm located at Misamis Oriental. So ito yung one of our projects dun sa dati kong work sa Solar Pacific. And so kung may budget kayo, you can you can install solar panels on your rooftop. Ayan. But hindi lang promotion ng renewable energy ang dapat natin gawin. We should also work towards climate justice because the issue of climate change is also a justice issue, di ba? Yung mga corporations na fossil fuel corporations, for instance, na mas malaki yung responsibilidad sa climate change, they should be held accountable. And so we can take governments and corporations to court. We can lobby governments to divest from fossil fuels and to make good climate policies. Recently lang, yung Asian Development Bank announced that they will be divesting from fossil fuels. So that's good. And we can work with communities to share their stories and support their leadership in the climate justice movement. So supportahan din natin yung work towards climate justice. Now, for the better normal, we want to embrace a more circular economy. Ibig sabihin ng circular economy, it's opposite the linear economy that we are used to. Di ba yung normal na linear economy, we extract resources from the environment, we manufacture it, we use it, and then we throw it away. But for the circular economy, continuous siya. So you extract resources, you manufacture it, you use it. After you use it, pwedeng maging resource ulit siya or pwede siyang ma-recycle. So continuous lang dapat yung cycle and there's no waste. Yun yung goal. Another big issue in the Philippines is plastic pollution. And the Philippines is actually ranked as the third largest plastic polluter globally after China and Indonesia. But when you talk about per capita production of plastic or use of plastic, nangunguna actually ang the USA and the UK. but still, it's a big problem in the Philippines. So that's equivalent to 40 plus million shopping bags daily, 160 plus million plastic sachets. So much plastic. Sinasabi nila, why don't we just recycle them? But the truth is, only about 9% of plastic has been recycled. 12% has been burned. So malaking problema na naman yan kasi it's releasing toxic chemicals to the air, to the environment. The remaining 79% has ended up in landfills or the environment. Meron na tayong tinatawag na microplastics kung saan na disintegrate sa mas maliliit na plastic. So what happens is kinakain ito ng mga isda and then kinakain natin yung isda. So ano yung kinain natin? Plastic. Ayun. Actually, there are studies showing na meron ng microplastic in human poop and human flesh. And we don't know, hindi pa natin alam kung ano exactly yung impact ng microplastic. But of course, it's a toxic material. Yeah, it's a foreign material. So obviously, it wouldn't have a good effect on our bodies, on our health. And because of the pandemic, mas naging madalas din ang ating online shopping. Ang problema, yung mga binibili natin, naka-wrap siya sa single-use plastic. So mas dumami na naman yung plastic trash. And even if health experts tell us na it's safe to use reusables, parang sa mga supermarket, I don't know sa inyo, but in some areas, balik sa single-use plastic. So again, dumami na naman nag-generate na naman tayo ng more garbage, more plastic. So what can be the solution sa ating problema on garbage and plastic? We can learn about plastic pollution. We can organize a zero waste event. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng zero waste? Yung goal ng, if you want to embrace a zero waste lifestyle, it doesn't mean naman na totally zero waste. The goal is for you to produce as little waste as you can. Na siguro naalala nyo pa, even when you were young, palaging sinasabi or binabanggit yung 3 R's. Reduce, reuse, recycle, di ba? Ang pinaka-first doon is reduce. That's the first step actually. You reduce consumption. So as much as possible, you just buy whatever you need and then buy quality products so that you can use it as long as possible or several times. And then after using it, you can turn it into another thing or you can recycle it. Yung pinaka-last dapat talaga, last na step natin is recycling. That's not the first step. The first step is you reduce consuming, reduce producing waste in the first place. And then you can also challenge local restaurants and challenge local supermarkets to encourage using reusables. Naalala ko when I was in Manila, normally meron kaming tinatawag na Jolly Jeep. So parang karinderya siya. And then I would always bring with me my own containers. So that's one way of reducing plastic or garbage. So individual level, we can do something. But of course, the government should also do their part, also the corporations. So you can lobby for single-use ban in your community. And let's demand responsibility from corporations, especially these top 10 corporate plastic polluters. Dapat hindi nila pinapasa yung responsibility of managing the plastic waste to the consumers, especially so that they have the resources, they have the budget to actually switch to a more sustainable packaging. For the better normal, we want the improved mobility, better public transportation, more sidewalks, and more bike lanes. Nung nagka-pandemic, where pahirapan yung ano no, yung paggamit natin ng public transport, mas marami yung nagbabike na. So that's good kasi it's good for the environment. It's doesn't produce a lot of um, air pollution, di ba? And it's also a good exercise. Pero dito rin pumapasok yung responsibility again ng government to set the infrastructure, di ba? Normally kasi sinasabi natin, okay, I want to choose a more environment friendly option. But if the infrastructure is not there, it's stopping you from choosing that option, di ba? Kaya very important yung role ng government of providing the infrastructure. The Institute for Climate and Sustainable Cities conducted a survey. Ito sa Manila ito, but it can also apply to any urban areas or any city. 93% of the respondents agreed that there should be more bicycle lanes in their city. Dito sa, obviously, it's a developed country. Dito sa UK, talagang makikita mo na may devoted lane for bicycles talaga. And they're really promoting riding bicycles and walking here. 80% of the respondents do not think that current or existing bicycle lanes in Metro Manila are of good quality, kung meron man. 56% do not think that it is safe to cycle in the city. Yun din, no? Yung parang, hindi masyadong safe kasi una, walang designated bicycle lane, and then pangalawa, mas pina-prioritize kasi talaga yung cars, no? And then 49% of the respondents disagree that there are enough facilities present at school or work where they can change after cycling. Ano yung mga top motivations for cycling? Health reasons, to save time or avoid traffic, to save money, to do errands. And then top proposals to improve cycling in Metro Manila and other urban areas. Mas mainam siguro kung meron tayong connected bike lanes, segregated bike lanes, and better facilities at work and school. How about walkability naman, or walking? 72% of the respondents do not think that current or existing sidewalks in Metro Manila are of good quality. Ayan, so again, kailangang ma-improve pa yung mga sidewalks natin. Hindi lang sa Metro Manila, but everywhere, especially in urban areas, in cities. 63% of the respondents do not think that there are enough sidewalks. And 62% of the respondents do not think that the current infrastructure of sidewalks are adequate. And 51% of the respondents do not think that it is safe to walk in the city where they live. Ano naman yung top motivations for walking? Again, it's for health reasons, to save time, to do errands, and for work. And how can we promote walking? Well-connected sidewalks and footpaths, wider sidewalks, and better enforcement for illegal parking. Lastly, for the better normal, we want more open and green spaces. Pag minsan when we think of development, ito yung image, no? Buildings, concrete. But for the better normal, we actually want more of these, di ba? Especially now na I heard sa Pilipinas, I don't know sa area nyo, but we're reaching 30 degrees, 40 degrees. It's super, super hot, no? So we need more green spaces. And of course, because of COVID or of the pandemic, open green spaces are relatively safer places where we can be. It's a shame that we don't seem to put much importance to trees. Trees can make the area cooler, so meron siyang cooling effect, di ba? So it can reduce heart attacks, strokes, and asthma. Of course, healthier people. Fresher air. Trees absorb small particulate matter from the air, so yun, air pollution. Improved neighborhood air quality. It absorbs greenhouse gas emissions then. It prevents soil erosion. It's Also good for mental health. Meron na nga tayong tinatawag na na earth, no, no, what do you call it? Forest bathing. Forest bathing where you go to the forest for healing. So, prescribed na siya. And it's actually, it's good physically and mentally. That's why this bill is very, for me, I think it's a very important bill because it encourages people to plant trees. Pero sana wag tayong mag-focus sa planting of trees. It should be tree growing. So we actually grow, make sure that the trees will mature. Ayan. And then when we conduct our tree planting activities, dapat hindi invasive species yung itatanim natin. And again, because of the pandemic, mas naparami ang mga plantito at plantita. But make sure na yung mga tinatanim nyo, hindi sila poached from our forests. And maybe it's actually better to plant vegetables na lang, di ba, para makain nyo. I'm not saying na you don't plant ornamentals. But again, let's make sure na hindi sila poached from our forest. Ayun. Ang dami kong binagsak na problema sa inyo, di ba? Mga problema ng mundo, problema ng environment. And what can we do? Sabi ni Edward Everett Hale, I am only one, but still I am one. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do something that I can do. So kung meron kayong pwedeng gawin, why not gawin nyo na? Try to take action. Firstly, learn more about the issue and contribute to the solution. So the isang malaking check na kayo sa number 1, at least you are here. Thank you for joining the webinar, trying to learn more about the issue. And yes, you can learn more with technology, with internet. There's so much information, but it also requires, you have to be analytical as well because there's so much information out there. So you have to be critical about the information that you get. But yeah, that's the first step. You learn about the issue so that you know where you can contribute the most, depending on your capacity. And you can raise awareness through social media and offline activities, especially now na hindi pa masyadong pwede lumabas. So while nag-Facebook kayo or social media, why don't you raise awareness about these issues? Social media, I think, is a powerful tool. You can use it for the good. It's a tool for you to reach the people within your circle of influence, your friends and your family. And then, of course, dapat hindi lang siya titigil sa online efforts. So dapat kung pwede nang lumabas, it's relatively safer. You should also pair your online activism with offline activities. And then, yun, palagi kong sinasabi na yes, individual action matters. It shapes the norms, social norms, di ba? Collectively, it can change the system. But for that to be facilitated, government and corporations should also do their part. So we should also demand accountability from corporations and the government. So kung hindi pa kayo nakapag-register and you can actually vote next year, please register to vote, and come the election time, exercise your power to vote so that we can elect leaders who will act for a better normal. I encourage you to check out the Youth Agenda for a Better Normal that would outline all the things that I have just talked about. And do check the Facebook pages of #IamHampasLupa, the Better Normal Youth Champions, and Greenpeace to learn more about the things that they do and the campaign or advocacy for the environment. So for the Better Normal, we want a more resilient food system. We want our energy to come from cleaner, renewable sources. We want to embrace circular economy and maybe practice minimalism and zero waste lifestyle. We want improved mobility, better public transportation, improved sidewalks and bike lanes. We want more open green spaces. So let's work together to shape the new normal.